Right, that's at the top of our list right now. You know, in fairness, I submitted my right example as my whole master's thesis.
Oh, I didn't remember that.
I'm gonna take read that down.
Well, we already read it, so feel free to stop by.
He's not here. The pastor. You can just do a moment of silence, if you like. It was 3 hours.
This meeting is called to order. We'll have a moment of silence. Thank you. Now we will do pledge allegiance to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Approval of the agenda.
I move the approval.
I'll second.
It's been moved to second. Citizen comments.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, Commissioners, staff. My name is Tamara Robbins. So again, this agenda, as all previous agendas, does not contain options for live streaming. And at the last meeting, Interim City Manager Valadares stated in response to the commissioners, in response to the public's inquiries about this, that it wasn't part of the strategic plan and there was no money in the budget for this, and that he would get around to it kind of whenever. Well, commissioners, that is not the job of the city manager. City manager is to follow your majority vote directions. And in June, I think it was June 23rd of this year, you voted 5-0 to direct Mr. Valadares to come back with options for live streaming, because at that time you were listening to the public. And apparently you all thought that was important too, because it was 5 of you that voted for that. So in any other governing body structure, that would be grounds for terminating Mr. Valadares as city manager, because his job is to follow the directives of the governing body, because you work for the people. He doesn't. I mean, he does, but you, right, you are our representatives. And when you direct Mr. Valadares under a city manager commission form of government, his job is to follow your directives. So Mr. Valadares needs to either follow your directives, or I think he needs to submit his resignation letter, because he's not up for the job. Because if he reads a charter, that is the number one thing, is to uphold the policy and enforce policies. But this is the form of government that we have here. And when you vote to direct the city manager to do something, their job is to do it, regardless of whether it came up in a strategy meeting or it was in a budget that you just approved. I mean, you have budget amendments on your agenda tonight. So the agenda, the budget is a changeable document, and you have money in there for live streaming. So again, it's not on the agenda. So if Mr. Valadares needs further direction to come back for live streaming, I ask that this commission give it to him, and this time give him a deadline of when he needs to follow the directives of the board and do his job. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, we can respond to that. As of this week coming up, a scope of work has been prepared, and an RFP will be going out for public notification for live streaming next week. I have followed the division direction of the board, and I'll continue to serve in that direction. And so that's the time frame that's happening, and that's what we're providing. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
No one's going to the mic tonight? Okay, let's do it. Okay, good evening, commissioners, mayor, vice mayor.
Mayor, we may want to make sure this is agenda.
Tell me.
Agenda.
Right.
We haven't gotten to, I'm sorry, we haven't gotten to the comments yet.
Now we will have a vote. I will start with Commissioner Fletcher.
Aye.
Commissioner Ringerson.
Aye.
Vice Mayor.
Aye.
Mayor Brown. And Mayor Welch. Aye. So we will move on to special presentation.
Also, Mayor, that's a 4-0 vote. Commissioner Williams is not here in attendance, so I want to make sure that we have stated that. She is not here tonight, so our votes will be, that was a 4-0.
Excuse me. Approval of the reading of the proposed ordinance and resolution title only.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved in second. Before we vote, we have citizens' comments on the subject, not on the agenda.
You ready to vote, right? We need to vote.
So we'll vote, and then we'll have citizen comments.
Yep.
We'll start with Commissioner Ringerson.
Aye.
Commissioner Fletcher.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Shirley Brown.
Aye.
Mayor Welch. Aye. Now, special presentations.
Good afternoon. My name is Xavier White, and I proudly serve as the CEO of Early Learning Coalition of Alachua. I am here tonight just to share a little bit about our agency. Our agency is funded, we're a nonprofit organization. Our fiscal year is July 1st through June 30th. We're funded through Department of Education, then through the Division of Early Learning, and then the coalitions. There are 30 coalitions around the state. Our coalition here in Alachua only serves Alachua County. We receive our fundings, our school readiness amount is $12 million. We get about $4 million for our VPK funding. We get an amount of $650,000 from the Children's Trust. The City of Gainesville awards us $65,000. The CAP program awards us $35,000. We get about $1,000 from the UF charity campaign. The City of Waldo awarded us $5,000 this year for the first time. South State Bank has awarded us $5,000. As you can see, we are in the community trying to work up and get more local funding for the children of Alachua County. The services that we provide are school readiness, child care assistance. We serve children between the ages of 0 to 12. And in order to be eligible for that program, the parent must be working 20 hours a week or attending school part-time and be up under the state median income level in order to be eligible for benefits. The VPK program, which is the voluntary pre-kindergarten program, that program serves any 4-year-old that is not school age in Alachua County, regardless of the family's income, and that's a state mandate. We have child care research and referral sources where we provide information to any person that wants to know if they work in Gainesville and they live in Alachua. We can give them the Alachua zip code and say all the facilities here in Alachua that provide services that's contracted with us, or in Gainesville around the area that they work. We have warm line services where you can call in and our staff will actually do a warm call to try to connect you to the service provider that you're trying to get some assistance with. Our program department supports our 122 providers by providing assistance directly to the classroom. For instance, if there's a behavior issue, we'll have one of our TPD coaches go out to that classroom, observe the classroom, work alongside the teacher to come up with assistance for that child to better get what they need out of the classroom. Our school readiness program is very important because the number one reason that people leave the workforce is because of childcare. If you don't have a safe place for your child to go, our families are not going out to work. That's not a Gainesville issue. It's not an Alachua County issue. It's not a state of Florida issue. That's a nationwide issue. We help children by getting prepared for kindergarten. As you know, in Alachua County, we do have an issue with literacy and children being on grade level for reading. Children being able to participate in our program is a great start to making sure that they're ready for the classroom structure so that when they go into the classroom, they're prepared to adhere to the classroom structure and be ready to learn. The most important thing we do, I would say, is providing that opportunity for quality early learning for the children that are in our program. We also help to keep parents in the workforce and to be able to get themselves on a path so that they may be able to do better for themselves and for their families. We do recognize our parents as the first teacher to the child. We're not the one, if a parent is eligible for benefits, my staff do not determine where they're going to get services from. The parent makes that decision based on what's best for them as far as if their zip code, if they want it by their house, if they want it by their job. The parent totally makes that decision. Our VPK program, in order for our providers to provide the VPK, they have to have at least 4 children in the classroom, and there has to be at least 2 teachers in that classroom. The children has the option to do either 540 hours for the entire year, or they can do the summer session, which is 300 instructional hours. The total children in the classroom cannot be more than 12. And so that VPK, it is half a day that the children get to attend that program that the coalition is paying for through state funds. For the city of Alachua, we are currently serving 126 children in the city of Alachua. When you look at the cost of care, um, if we're looking at an infant, that's probably about $1,400 a month for one child to attend care for the entire month. And if you consider the cost of living, that amount is sometimes as much or more than rent whenever you're, trying to raise your family. So just consider that as we go forward in the presentation. Early learning, we do a lot within the community. We have a rally every year where we pass out book bags for children getting ready to attend school. The last 2 years, we've been able to pass out 800 book bags. Our resource outreach coordinator, she goes to all of the outlying counties to work with the library partnerships or any events that's going on in the area. And so we have attended events out here in Alachua County as well. In May, we have our VPK prom where the little children get to dress up in their best gear and come and have a nice party where we're celebrating them for finishing VPK. I myself like to act like a kid and I will dress up like a little princess and have fun with the kids on that day as well. We also like to support literacy. And so since I've been in this position, I've been in this position for 1 year and 8 months, I attend at least 2 centers a month, and I read a book to the children and provide every child in that classroom with a book to take home so they can pay that forward with their families. We participate with the Amazing Give, which is in April, and that's just a local thing for Alachua County where we're trying to raise funds. Amazing Give has done an amazing job here in Alachua County. They raise a lot. The last 2 years, we've been able to bring in about $4,000 with our efforts of trying to drum up more local funding. We also participate in the UFCC Gator Gives. The reason I'm here tonight, and I've been to every municipality in in Alachua County, is our state funding was cut this year. Statewide, we were cut $78 million. For Alachua County, we lost $1.3 million. For the first time in years, I would go back to COVID probably, we have a wait list. We currently have 701 children on our wait list. We are not able to move forward with pulling any other children off of that wait list at this time because we have to be fiscally responsible with the funding that we have. And so what I'm doing is going around to the city municipalities saying, hey, we have children that's in your county that's benefiting from this program. And we are asking, based on the amount of children in the area, which for here is 126 kids, our request to the city of Alachua is to support us with $45,000. Usually we are able to do match funding with that $45,000. I can't confirm that I'm going to be able to match the entire $45,000 because match funding was awarded at the beginning of our budget year, but some of that may be match funding. But I am asking that if you guys would consider it for vote at your next meeting of funding Early Learning Coalition for the 126 children that are currently here and possibly serving children that are on our wait list. I believe we have 56 kids currently on our wait list from Alachua County. That number may have changed. I did not check it this morning. With those funding, we will ensure and we can provide a report. What we provide to the city of Gainesville is a quarterly report. We list every child that's in the county. We list the zip code of where they're actually residing at so that you can see that the funds are only being spent in Alachua County. We are monitored heavily by the state and single audit. We have a low rating for single audit. And what that means, if you are a financial person, is that we're fiscally responsible. We have internal controls to ensure that the money that is awarded to us from the state, from the federal feds and local, we make sure that we're doing the right things with those funding, with the funding that is supplied to us. If you guys would be so gracious as to agree to fund us, we will also ensure that every cent that's awarded to Early Learning Coalition is spent in Alachua County for children in Alachua County. The mission at hand for us is to just make sure that every child has the opportunity to get a great start on their education. When you look at education and starting out, if you start out behind, where do you have the opportunity to catch up? you don't. You need that opportunity to go into the early learning center so that our early learning partners has the opportunity to identify any barriers, whether they be physical barriers, if the child's having problems with their writing, if it's functional barriers as far as just maneuvering a pencil, or if there's any type of delays that the child may have. Research shows that the earlier you're able to identify any barriers and get the child help, they're more successful. There's research nationwide that shows that children who attend early learning programs have a higher chance to graduate. Whenever you have children that are graduating from your schools, they're able to come back and work in your community and help in your community. And I'm asking you today if you guys would please support Early Learning Coalition and also support the children that's in your community. I'll pause right there. I've said a lot. I'll answer any questions that you guys may have. I strongly support, becoming one of our local funders. Become a partner, a volunteer with us, attend our events, share our posts on Facebook, and tell everybody that ELC, we're here to serve the community. Are there any questions? Nope. Okay, thank you.
I will say thank you very much for coming. And I myself is very passionate about birth to 5. That's 80% of the brain is wired by the time they're 5. So I think this is a great thing that the community has. I think the Early Coalition is fantastic. I know about the wait list. I have several families and workers that are trying to get off of that wait list. So I thank you for coming out and sharing your time.
Thank you.
Mayor, if I can make a comment too, Ms. White, it's admirable all the work and services that you provide. You and I've had a couple of conversations, and I stand in awe of all the things that you guys work on. Thank you for making an impact for our city. Thank you.
It's our pleasure. Thank you. All right. Y'all have a great night.
We'll move to item 2. Comments from citizens on the subject not on the agenda. Please limit your time to 3 minutes.
Hello, my name is Julie Smith. Recently, as y'all all know, I spend a lot of time on social media. I read an article up in High Springs after Trishan Grunder had won, and to my dismay, Main Street had posted that Bloodsworth had won by default because he ran uncontested. I heard back the next day, which is the first by Mr. Gish, where he quoted that the Alachua County Supervisor of Elections website was wrong. So if you look at the second picture, you'll see where Bloodsworth, he was to remain in office until November the 26th, 2026. And even on the website, which is the bottom one from the Alachua County Supervisor of Elections, it is wrong by stating 2025. Now, to some people, this may just seem like a small error, but to us, it was like, the citizens were like, why did he run uncontested? Because he didn't. It was obviously an error on the Alachua County. We're going into April. We're going to have another election here. We had a few hiccups last year, and I came before you to bring you the evidence, and I really appreciate Main Street bringing it to light that it was wrong. And of course, when I went on there, they were wrong. That's why the second one I brought it to you to show the truth is he is not up for re-election per their website. I would just request that maybe per the direction of the city manager and possibly the lawyer that you guys do an audit of this county, the Alachua County Supervisor of Elections, because if they can make this mistake on the city of High Springs, which was just found 2 days ago, they can make a mistake on ours as well. Had we not come to this and the next person would have ran, they would have been a really big issue because that slot would have not been available, but it would have been. Obviously, there's time to fix it now, but we did have a lot of issues in April of last year, and I do think that it would be in the right thing for you guys to order to have, I'm sure Mr. Scott Walker to look over the website to make sure that there's no other faults in the city of Alachua, just the city of Alachua mainly. Of course, you represent other cities, you might want to look into it too. Like I say, it may be a small error to some, but to a lot of the people up there, they shouldn't make small errors like this when they represent our elections and our supervisor elections. Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, if I may ask the city
Yes.
manager, Mr. City Manager, who oversees our elections?
Deputy City Clerk provides support for our elections.
All right, thank you, Mr. Mayor.
You're welcome.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Commissioner, staff. My name is Tamara Robbins. City of Alachua published an ad for a planning and zoning board member vacancy. The deadline for submittals of applications is November 13th, Thursday, and one of the criteria says applicants must be a resident of the city of Alachua. Well, I submitted a public records request last week for the policy. The commission adopted policy requiring residency by planning and zoning board members. Now, I haven't received a response other than the fact that they received it, and I was kind of expecting to get an invoice because that seems to be really kind of first thing that happens is to send out to the public an invoice for paying of money. But my research does not find that there is a requirement for residency to serve on the city's planning and zoning board. And I asked Mr. Mayor that you clarify that, because if you are requiring that, then, and it's not legally allowed for you to do that, something needs to be done about it. So the other thing is there's an ad in the newspaper about the Terra April special exception permit, and this seems to be throughout the published notices, mailed out notices, and notices that are posted for public hearings. And it says copies of the application are available for inspection at the Planning and Community Development Department any business day. Well, your policy says, section 2.2.96, this is what must be put on mail out notices posted and published. Describe where the application, the staff report, and any related materials may be inspected by the public, and state that these materials are available for public inspection during normal business hours. City staff is not providing the staff reports until they release they post the agenda. That is in violation of your own code. Mr. Mayor, Commissioners, City Manager, your number one job is to make sure that the codes of this city are adhered to by all staff members under your authority. And this is a violation. It keeps the public from having access to the staff report. They won't release it today. Oh, we might want to make changes to it. Really? Really changes after you've published notice. This is a big deal, and you do it, all of the ads are like that. And you're supposed to have, if the application is ready for prime time, the staff report needs to be available for inspection by the public. This disenfranchises the public and violates our due process. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, Commissioner, Mayor, City Attorney. Michelle Lee with Optimal Station. I have a marketing and automated retail business, and I also own Good Life Station on Main Street, a community hub. And I also serve on the Alachua Chamber and the Alachua Business League. Tonight, I'm going to share a couple of things. First, I'm going to wear my chamber hat and remind you all to sign up for Christmas on Main to give our family and friends some free family fun on Main Street on our tree lighting night, and also to sign up for the Christmas parade on our chamber site. I'm also going to share with you guys about Good Life Station, and we partnered with Cade Museum, this weekend, and we had a really successful event. We had parents dropping off the kids, and we were sending them to Market in Main and to the other retail shops on Main Street. So, as Mandy had stated earlier, was a great synergy on Main Street with new parents and new people, and so much excitement that Cade left saying that not only was this pop-up super successful for them, but they would like to come back to Alachua monthly for providing this workshop to our community regularly. So super excited about that. We also partnered with Legacy this weekend to connect local businesses for a backyard block party, hosting for local rugby teams. So the Alachua Sports Pub and our new Makatori, the sushi and yakitori business coming to Main Street this weekend, did a great job at really just serving additional family and friends on Main Street this weekend. So it was really great. I just want to thank the city and the rec department, Damon and his team, planning. Brian, I want to do a quick shout out that the planning department is unbelievable to work with and is really shining a lot of bright light to good possibilities and opportunities as they're thinking outside of the box and really working with us. So love that. And looking forward to celebrating our alcohol ordinance exemption soon and working with community spaces and parklets and community pavilions. So really excited about our community workshop and being able to share some great ideas for the community about that. And I think that's all this evening. So thank you guys for giving me this time to share with you some exciting things we have going on in our community, and look forward to doing more.
Thank you. If there be no more comments, we'll move to item 2. Comments from citizens on subject, not on the, oh, we just did that. We'll move to item 3. Committee reports, committee appointments, city announcements.
There are none, so we can move to item number 4.
Public hearing in audience.
Mr. Mayor, I'll go ahead and read ordinance number 25-13 by its title only. This is an ordinance of the City of Alachua, Florida, relating to the amendment of the city's Code of Ordinances, amending subpart A, Chapter 4, Alcoholic Beverages, City of Alachua Code of Ordinances, providing for the exemption of the Community Redevelopment Agency District from the restrictions of the alcohol sales within the proximity to institutions set forth in Section 3, providing for codification of this amendment in the city's Code of Ordinances, providing a repealing clause, providing severability, providing an effective date. The appropriate motion is to pass. Ordinance 25-13 upon its reading by title only.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Commissioners, City Manager, City Attorney. I'm David Weisner, Economic Development Manager for the city. Staff here presents an ordinance for the City Commission's consideration that results from discussions dating back to the May 5th regular City Commission meeting, in which members of the Alachua Chamber of Commerce and other local business representatives requested the Commission amend an ordinance that prohibits the sale of alcohol within 450 feet of a religious institution on all businesses that are not licensed as restaurants that derive at least 51% of gross revenue from the sale of food and non-alcoholic beverages. Following discussion at the June 23rd and the July 28th regular City Commission meetings, staff was instructed by vote of the Commission to submit an ordinance that would amend the existing restriction by lifting its applicability within the Community Redevelopment Agency District. 3 of the 4 churches adjacent to the area in question were notified by letter sent via certified mail, and 1 church had the letter hand-delivered by staff to its pastor, of the pending vote on this ordinance tonight, and invited to attend the meeting to share their input if they wished. A copy of the proposed ordinance and the letter sent to these churches has been included with this item. Staff's recommended action is approval of ordinance 25-13 on first reading and scheduling a second reading for November 24th, 2025. And I am happy to take any questions.
Do you have a map for this?
A map?
Yeah.
Of this, not on me.
I only mention that just because the motion said a proposal that would remove the prohibition of alcohol within the CRA, including a map. So I wanted to have that visualization. Yeah. It's in our approved minutes. Yeah. That one's different.
Well, it would be the CRA district, so whatever map is contiguous with that would be the same.
Mr. Mayor, I move we approve ordinance 2513 on the first reading and schedule a second reading for November 24th, 2025.
I'll second that, Mayor.
It's been moved in second. Now we have we have citizen comments.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Commission staff, Tamara Robbins again. Well, Mr. Mayor, I totally agree with Commissioner Fletcher. There should be a map in order for the public to be able to see what you're talking about. I mean, yes, the CRA means something to some people, and they understand the boundaries of that, but it seems totally I just can't believe there isn't a map here to show what you're talking about. I mean, it's in the motion to include the entire CRA district. Where is it? Like, what are the boundary streets then, if you're not going to put a map up? So just kind of without words on that one. There's also supposed to be a business impact statement done. And I know it's been posted on the city's website. I thought that would have been included. It's a state law requirement, and it seems that would have been reasonable to have in the backup material. And I did read it. Fortunately, the one that was put on there from back when you first were considering it, and all the answers were like, does it impact the businesses? What is the amount of business impact? 0. Really? 0. 0 impact to the businesses in this community to have an alcohol ordinance. Wouldn't that seem to improve potential sales of alcohol in a business district? I mean, it just seems disingenuous. It's like no impact. So I disagree with the fact that it's not included in the backup material. And fortunately, I had looked at it before to see that there's no business impact for this. I believe the people in the business district and the chamber and the folks that were promoting this were doing it because they believed that it would increase business impact. So it seems like a business impact statement would reflect that. So again, I support it, but it just seems really, it's just not professional here. Where's the map and where's the business impact statement so that the people can see what you're voting on? Thank you.
Hi, I'm Julie Smith. We have gone over this, and most of you guys should know where the CRA district is. I mean, the CRA just spoke. I mean, I am just a citizen. I know where the CRA district is. There's really, to me, churches meet on Saturday mornings. They're usually out by 1 or 2. I mean, you're not seeing people down there on Sunday morning having mimosas, getting shit faced on the sidewalks. You know, these businesses, I know them personally. They're not asking to create a New Orleans style environment. They're just asking to be able to have, you know, cocktails or whatever it is inside their business, or even for the events that are going around in their business. We've been fighting this for multiple cities. And I mean, breweries and stuff like that are bringing back downtown Main Street, and these businesses are in a business district. They are in the CRA. Churches, there's one in question that is merely renting the building. I mean, we have to find compromise, because I mean, I'm down there on Sunday and it's dead. I mean, and I'm down there and there could be more liveliness. I mean, there could be more opportunity for these small businesses and these local businesses to be able to gain revenue. And I'm 50 years old. If I want to go down and have wings and a beer, I should be able to do that. I should be able to make those decisions by myself without somebody telling me what I can and can't do, especially in a CRA district on Main Street in 2025. I mean, I totally get it. You wouldn't want a full liquor bar with no food. You wouldn't want that. And obviously, whatever business is doing it would probably have to come forth and get an approval anyways. But if you're down there and you're having wings and you want to have a beer, or you're down there and you're having dinner and you'd like to have a glass of wine because the church across the street from you has been closed since 3 o'clock because their service is over, I don't see where there's a problem. I see that we need to collaborate. We need to partner with each other. None of the churches has ever said anything to me negative. I've talked to a lot of them, and most of them welcome it for the one reason. If you're down there and you're actually eating dinner and you're enjoying Main Street, you're walking by their church that you didn't know exist. So a lot of people say, hey, I didn't even know there was a church here. I was down here with my family and I actually walked by and seen it. And I worked Sunday brunch in Gainesville for a very long time for the Hilton. And most of the preachers, when they got done, they came and got the Bloody Mary bar and the wives got a mimosa. So, you know, most Catholics, they drink on Sunday. You know, so I really feel like there needs to be a compromise to keep these local businesses thriving and to be able to offer more stuff to bring more people to Main Street. We don't want it to die. Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, I have a clarifying question.
Yes, you may.
For Lisa. Just for my own reference, this has no impact on public consumption of alcohol in the CRA area. Is that correct?
I'm not totally sure how to answer that, Mr. Mayor.
So by removing the CRA from section 4.3, that does not mean we're allowing people to go walking down Main Street with open containers or anywhere in the CRA. Is that correct?
That is correct, Mr. Mayor.
All right. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Mitch Glazer, the developer, San Francisco Tech City. What I'd like to speak about tonight, and I know we've worked at this for a very long time to make sure that the community is on board with this, because candidly, needs to be respected. There's definitely issues that are associated with that, and I think we've had a long time to have a great dialogue with the community to say that this is something that we would support. And I think in large part, we can take a piece of our own community, San Francisco Tech City, which does have a brewery and does have a nice wine bar, and really brings families out. And what we're trying to do with downtown Alachua is actually have this very family-friendly oriented kind of experience. And respectfully, if it's done right and you attract the right kinds of companies here, you're going to see this, this resurgent. And this is just one small piece of the puzzle. This is not the silver bullet. This is not going to make or break the community, and it shouldn't. It should be one of the pieces, one of the many pieces that bring this community together. And we've seen this example out at San Francisco Tech City. It's a very good representation of what can happen with our downtown. I'll share with you another small element is that we're receiving many requests to do lots of fun fundraising kinds of things out of San Francisco Tech City as well. And as you know, we have farmers market currently on Wednesday evenings, and those kinds of things actually propagate and are supported by the community. in large part because we've had this flexibility in this opportunity to kind of showcase these businesses that really are representative of our community and the fun kind of elements that bring people together. So I'm wholeheartedly in support, of course, and in advance, I really appreciate your effort on this and your support. Thank you very, very much.
Thank you.
Good evening again, Michelle Lee. I just feel like I need to talk on this topic because I've been running with it for a long time. Thank you for whoever put the map up on the board. I think if it was a detailed map specifically outlining something else, I would understand, not negating that the map should be there, but I do believe that the CRA district is pretty known to what the lines we're kind of talking about here. I also want to talk a little bit about the mission statement. I don't know what was provided, and maybe there needs to be a mission statement that says that, but I know that the vacancies that I've tried to fill have been some breweries, but currently we've had a wine bar, and Mitch gave a great example because Beaker and Flask is one that has been on the list that wants to come to Main Street. So the actual business that we're talking about is one that we know of that is actually very classy, and to Mitch's point, draws family outside of that of where Beaker and Flask and Daft Cow are. So these are the same kind of activities and environments we're trying to create on our Main Street, and that will fuel not only the other economic development, other retail stores, and I loved the idea of just different. There's so many fundraising opportunities in these kind of establishments. So another great opportunity to add to Main Street. But I just want to say thank you for listening and going down this journey with us, and looking forward to celebrating with everybody.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, I have another question for staff on this. So last year, House Bill 1285 was passed, which gives churches the right to start schools. And I believe there could be a potential conflict between if a school starts up within such certain districts, certain distances of businesses selling alcohol. Is there any precedence for that, or is that just new law that came out, and we'll see how the courts handle that?
Yes, Mr. Mayor. So yes, there is state law that prohibits sale of alcohol within, I believe it's 500 feet of schools. And we did, if I may defer to the city attorney, I believe he did some research on this for us.
I believe it would be grandfathered, Mr. Mayor, that the existing use would be grandfathered. And so that is one of the purposes of this ordinance. And I might add too that the business impact statement is for regulatory compliance. So it's if it costs a business funds in order to come into compliance with a regulation that you are passing, then you have to assess that for your business impact statement. It is not an economic forecasting for whatever businesses that are in a district or affected by the law. So it's a little different subject matter, Mr. Mayor.
Mr. Mayor, if I can ask the attorney another question. So because we're reducing, I would say we're reducing an ordinance on people. Like we're not providing like a like what we at the local government see as like an unpaid mandate.
Correct.
Okay.
That's right.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. We'll start with Commissioner Fletcher.
Aye.
Commissioner Ringerson.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Shirley Brown.
Aye.
Mayor Welch. Aye.
Mr. Mayor, the next item on the agenda is the acceptance of the deed of dedication. And at the appropriate time, the motion would be to accept the deed of dedication from Waco Properties, Inc., a Florida corporation, successor by merger to Waco Inc., a Florida corporation qualified to do business as Waco in the state of Florida as Waco of Alabama Inc., an Alabama corporation, to the city of.
Mr. Mayor, before we jump on that real quick, I just wanted to thank Mr. Wisner for his work on this and our attorney for this because that bill from last year is a tricky question on trying to establish where we can go on that. So I'd like to thank you guys for taking your time and due diligence on that.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. And good evening once again. I am David Wisner, Economic Development Manager. As part of the city's agreement with Florida Commerce for the Community Development Block Grant Economic Development for the extension of Northwest 115th Avenue as a public roadway, the city agreed to accept ownership of this extension as a public roadway. The attached deed of dedication from Waco Properties, Inc. to the city is for the property which will become the extended portion of Northwest 115th Avenue. Staff's recommended action is that the City Commission accept the deed of dedication from Waco Properties and authorize and direct the mayor to execute the deed of dedication and closing statement by affixing his signature to both documents. And I'm happy to take questions.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So my understanding, this is one of the main through roads for the distribution centers, or can you elaborate on that?
Yes, Mr. Mayor. So yes, Northwest 115th Ave is an existing roadway that's been there for quite some time now. That does service several of the distribution centers out there, and this particular deed of dedication is for the extension of that roadway.
Okay, and we already maintain the road before the extension at this point.
That's correct, Mr. Mayor.
Okay. Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, I move that the City Commission accept the deed of dedication from Waco Properties and authorize and direct the mayor to execute the deed of dedication and closing statement by affixing his signature to both the documents.
I'll second that, but I'd like to get another question in.
Go ahead.
So 235 right there, that's a real pain in the butt road. And we know that the county owns it or is responsible for it. And we deal with a lot of traffic issues because of the trucks going through this. What are our obligations from the segment that we currently have? And now we're going with this extension if it's mainly being used by these warehouses as a trucking route.
Could you rephrase the question, please, Mr. Mayor?
What are our financial obligations to the current road and now the extension? Because my understanding is this road isn't being used by the general public, but it is being used by these warehouses with these trucks that have a higher impact on roadways.
Mr. Mayor, to my understanding, and I welcome additional staff input as well, the city's responsibility is to Northwest 115th Avenue itself and maintaining that roadway. And if this extension, deed of extension was accepted, it would be to this roadway as well. Mr. City Manager, I'm not sure if you have any additional input.
Yeah, yes, our duty is to continue to maintain it. And so the benefit for it is job creation by this company, and companies of this size, they do provide tax benefit to the city that goes to our parks or recs. They don't get to use those opportunities because they're a business entity itself, but there is a benefit for having job creation within our city.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'll second.
It's been moved to second. We have citizen comments.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, Commission staff, Tamara Robbins again. Mr. Mayor, in a follow-up to Commissioner Fletcher's question, that's exactly what I was thinking. So I would like to know what's the financial impact of taking over the responsibility of this additional roadway? I mean, does the city have to mow the right-of-ways? Are there sidewalks included? Is there going to be trees planted along it? Is it the city's responsibility to do any watering and maintaining of those trees until they're established? I don't know. I haven't seen the drop of this road segment, but what is the financial impact to the city's budget to maintain this roadway? And is it built to a standard? Is it a higher standard of construction to sustain the heavy traffic, which it should be, considering Mr. Mayor to Commissioner Fletcher's point that it's not the general public that are using that road just to go somewhere. It's for the truck traffic, and we know that has a higher impact. 235A wasn't built originally to handle that impact, and so now it's showing the wear from it, right? So what is the public's responsibility financially to maintain this road? The numbers should have been done to know how much taking over the deed and responsibility of additional infrastructure, what's the burden money-wise to the public? Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you.
And so, as David Weiser did present, this is a $1.5 million grant that the city received from the state to do economic development for our area. This is taxpayer money being redirected to our city to benefit. And so again, the job opportunity that's presented by Benny Keith has a job growth grant that needs to be applied. And then all the taxes that these corporations have do provide support with all of our parks, our recs. And then of course, this is food distribution. So we get to feed folks not just within our city, but outside the city. There is the overall benefit.
Does I guess the city, like currently, Mr. Mayor,
Yes, sir.
like keep track of like these types of like what are the returns on these types of projects? Because it is a concern, I think, anytime when you're spending money or taking on responsibilities of making sure we're being doing our due diligence. So I would like some form of like knowing like what how much are we putting into this? How much are we getting back on this? Maybe those types of numbers are difficult to calculate for like this type of project. But I think this is something I think the commission should explore on future projects, at least on understanding like what are our economic and actual impacts from a dollar perspective.
You ready to vote? Yes. So we'll vote. I'll start with Commissioner Ringerson,
Aye.
Commissioner Fletcher,
Aye.
Vice Mayor Shirley Brown,
Aye.
Mayor Welch, aye. Now we'll move to 5B.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Vice Mayor, Commissioner, Mr. City Manager, Mr. City Attorney, Donna Smith with Finance and Administrative Services Purchasing. You have before you consideration of RFP 2025-02, which is the Northwest 115th Avenue Extension Award. On September 17th, 2025, the city solicited formal bids from qualified vendors to furnish all the necessary labor, materials, services, expenses, equipment, direct and indirect costs, and lump sum prices to complete the Northwest 115th Avenue extension for the Department of Commerce subgrant, contract number 25DB-E03. We held a mandatory pre-bid meeting on September the 24th where 8 contractors were in attendance. Bids were due on October the 20th. And the city received 3 lump sum bids in response to RFP 2025-02. Bid number 1 came from Wilkes Site Prep with a lump sum bid of $1,062,656.60. Bid number 2 was Watson Construction Company with a lump sum bid of $925,442.13. Bid number 3 was John C. Hip Construction Equipment Company with a lump sum bid of $829,129.43.
Staff is recommending moving forward with awarding the bid to John C. Hip Construction Company as the lowest responsive and responsible bidder. Please note that upon acceptance of the bid submitted by John C. Hip Construction Equipment Company and authorization for the city manager to enter into a contract with the company, staff will transmit all bid and procurement documentation to Florida Commerce for review. Execution of the agreement with John C. Hip Construction Company shall be contingent upon and will not occur until Florida Commerce has issued its approval of the procurement process. And I'm here to answer any questions.
No, I can move to accept the bid received from John C. Hip Construction Equipment Company, RFB 2025-02, authorizes city manager to enter into a contract with John C. Hip Construction Equipment Company and issue a purchase order in the amount of $829,129.43.
I'll second.
It's been moved to second. We have citizen comments.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, staff, commissioners. Tamara Robbins again. So the bid award was 1.5 million for the that was given to the city, right? So the accepted bid by HIP Construction of 829,129.43 is not the full $1.5 million, right? So what happens to the rest of the 1.5? And is it still in the city's coffers for change orders, perhaps, that come in from HIP Construction? That's one question. Where's the rest of the 1.5? Just wondering about that. And what is the percentage of allowance of the original bid that can be brought back as a change order? Like, for example, the county has a 15% cap on change orders so that bidders don't bid really low and then they just come back with a bunch of change orders and they just get back to that original and they actually end up capturing more of the money than the highest bidder bid, right? So what's the percentage of change orders? And also, since this is being approved by the commission, if there are change orders, according to your policy, it states that change order requests must be approved in the same order and manner as the corresponding original purchase document. So I understand that, and perhaps the city attorney, Mr. Walker, could clarify, is that any change order that comes forward or is submitted to the staff, if there are any, would have to come back before this board because the board is the one that approved this bid, right? So any change orders to it have to come back in the same process, the corresponding original purchase document. So they would have to come back to you guys to approve any change orders to the original bid award that you granted. So if somebody could clear that up for me. I think there's three questions there. I'd appreciate it. Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, I'm going from memory after reviewing the contract, but my understanding is that any change orders have to be made in writing. There's not a percentage-based change order. Sometimes in these contracts, you'll have an authorization for a change order up to a certain percentage. I don't remember seeing that in this particular contract. So my view would be any change orders have to be approved in writing first. They have to come back through this board for approval and authorization to proceed on any form of change order.
Thank you. I'll start with Commissioner Fletcher.
Before I vote on this, so if there is a change order within this project, who is the approving authority for that change order?
It would be this commission.
Thank you. Aye.
Commissioner Ricketson.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Shirley Brown.
Aye.
Mayor Welch. Aye. Now we'll move to item C. 5C.
Mr. Mayor, I'll go ahead and read this by title only. This is Resolution 26-01, a resolution of the City of Alachua, Florida, amending the 2024-2025 general fund budget, authorizing the transfer and appropriation of $101,964 from the general fund contingency to the City Commission, Human Resources, City Attorney, Recreation, and Cultural Department budgets, providing for an effective date. The appropriate motion at the appropriate time will be to pass Resolution 26-01 as read by title only.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Madam Vice Mayor, Commissioners, Mr. City Manager, Mr. City Attorney. Robert Bonetti, Finance Administrative Services Director. Fiscal year 25 recently ended as of September 30th. Of course, closing out the year takes a little time. We've gathered all the invoices that we know of from last year, paid them duly. We now conduct a review of budgets by category. That would be personal services, operating expenses, capital outlay, etc. These budgets must be in line, expenditures must be in line with these budgets. And in our review, we discovered that we have 4 departmental budgets that have gone over in one of these categories. This item is to resolve those issues by appropriating contingency from the general fund. The 4 budgets that were affected or that are affecting this resolution are the general fund commission budget. We had an overage of $1,854.54 in the operating category. Most of this was due to our newly elected commissioners, additional training and travel related to that. In our general fund human resources department, we had an overage of $7,021.85. This was due to mid-year staff by the previous city manager to the human resources department. The workload, they've had the same staffing since I began here, and we've nearly almost doubled the staff that we have as a city. And a lot of the burdens of the job were not being met as efficiently as they should, and so they requested an additional staff person. The general fund city attorney budget reflected an overage of $74,581.12 in operating expenses. This is due to the various litigation cases we encountered. And finally, the city recreation and culture budget had an overage of $18,079.04 in operating expenses. And this is primarily due to the cost of staffing of the summer camp. Of course, we didn't get the enrollment we anticipated and wanted. That's necessary to support the scholarships that we give. And so in order to correct these variances, a resolution is being presented. Note that the overall city budget will not change. We're simply moving budget from the contingency into these individual areas. The contingency would thus be reduced from $240,019 to $138,055. With that, Mr. Mayor, I'd be glad to answer any questions.
Mr. Mayor, regarding these, I guess overages, correct? I'm using the right term, overages, right?
That's a proper yes.
Okay. Do we have does our system that we currently use for tracking our finances, do we have a understanding of where, I'm assuming some of these items aren't just one lump sum, like each of these items aren't just one lump sum.
That's correct.
We have a system in place on where we can track what these, I guess you would call them sub items within these overages. Is that correct?
Mr. Mayor, that's correct. We identify every payment by vendor, invoice number, etc.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Well, we'll move on. Vote.
Mr. Mayor, I think we have to make a motion, right?
Yeah, to make the motion.
Okay. I move to adopt resolution 26-01.
I'll second that.
It's been moved to second. We have comments from the citizen.
Thank you again, Mr. Mayor. Tamara Robbins. So I'm curious, first of all, you didn't answer the question last time I came up about the difference between the grant award of 1.5 million and the bid award that was considerably less than that, where that money goes, or about that. I would really appreciate that. It's a big number. It was mentioned about litigation services. I'm looking at the budget adjustments, that the sheet that was handed out during your budget adoption, and I'm seeing litigation services for Mr. Walker of $32,000, and then another one for the bankruptcy attorney for $25,000. I would really appreciate more transparency on that. I mean, what is that number and what's it apply to? And is there any change in the legal money being budgeted? Because I don't know if it's true or not, but I heard that you have now hired Patrice Boyce. And I would really like to know if that's just untruthful rumor or if there is a truthfulness to that. And that was to represent the city on the Terra projects, the land use, since Mr. Theriak apparently isn't doing it. I don't know. I requested Mr. Theriak's contract and I got an invoice from city staff for $180 for me to get that contract, as well as Mr. Walker's. So $180 to get two contracts from people that I'm paying to do city business. So sorry, digress there. No, I didn't, but that's factual stuff too. So I'd like to know about the litigation and if there's any change in the legal department budget to accommodate another land use attorney that's representing the city of Alachua for the Tara developments. I think she was attending a staff meeting, so I don't think she would do that for free. And also, just FYI, she's also on the county payroll. So you might have wanted to ask her if there was any sort of conflict. I mean, Mr. Walker's on City of High Springs payroll too. So I don't know what is proper ethics anymore, but I would like the answer to the last question too. Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, in reference to the CDBG grant, this is a reimbursement grant. Any funds that are not utilized are never received by the city. In reference to litigation costs to last year, I'm going to use ballpark numbers. The charter amendment was about $65,000. The home rule, SB 180, I believe that's what's home rule, was about $10,000. The non-compliant structures, Carroll et al. Was about $110,000. The Terra was about $29,000, and we had also PBA expenses due to change in the union contract. As regards to this year, litigation costs are hard to estimate. So typically, it ends up being something like this action that we're doing tonight, contingency. Okay, we try not to anticipate litigation. Matter of fact, I would hope we tried to avoid it. And so known POs are carried over into the new budget, along with the continuing litigation amount, which I don't remember right off the top of my head. But no, typically it is left for contingency after the fact, because um, until it gets resolved, those costs are going to keep on coming, or we withdraw whatever case we're fighting.
Thank you. I will take a vote. Starting with Commissioner Fletcher,
Aye.
Commissioner Ringerson,
Aye.
Vice Mayor Shirley Brown,
Aye.
Mayor Welch. Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Now we're thank you. We move to item 6, citizen comments on the subject not on the agenda. Any? Well, we'll move to item 7. Comments from the city manager and city attorney.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Since last we met, we received a couple accolades from our resident. We received an email from Brian Boyd which states, "My neighbors and I just wanted to thank your crews for doing a great job out in Welch Park, in our neighborhood, and around the town. We appreciate the crews. Keep up the good work. Thank you." We also received a thank you note from resident Sophia Rim. "I wanted to thank you for your efforts and dedication with assistance with my project. I am grateful for your time and efforts again. Continue to support our community." And also last time I shared how we went to the local schools for Florida City Week, and I received many cards written by the students, which will be on display here at City Hall. For example, "Dear City of Alachua, thank you for visiting Irby. My favorite thing was Miss Burson's was flying." They took her up in the bucket. "We hope you come again. Thank you for taking care of our city." And so these will be on display here at City Hall. And so again, the impact that we make in our community. Also, last Tuesday, I attended a food drive at St. Matthew's Baptist, and there was Pastor Ruthie. And they had shirts, and the shirt said, "The government may be shut down, but heaven isn't." And so I'd like to thank all the community folks who served and dedicated and did the food drive that impacted our residents. Also, we met with the Santa Fe High School principal and coordinated how we can collaborate and work together. One of the highlights he brought up was that the students had secured a job. And so, as you know, there's a Chick-fil-A coming, and he couldn't stop talking that 18 students, even though it hadn't opened yet, 18 students were excited, talking about it with all their classmates, how they had jobs right after high school. And he said, "Thank you. You want me to pass appreciation to this board." That's how we can help with the educational piece and having jobs afterwards. And then the other thing we did together was the ribbon cutting of our well field. That was a strategic initiative that lasted many, many, many years that allowed us to put a plan together and holistically provide a solution that benefited the community, water quality, the environment. We did it all nicely. So thank you for the opportunity and by putting that as a strategic initiative. Also, Trick or Treat on Main was very, very well attended. And then the other item, I'll speak briefly because I know others will share, but on November 1st, the National Coalition of 100 Black Women took place. Its mission is to advocate on behalf of Black women and girls, promoting leadership, development, and gender equality in the areas of health, education, and economic empowerment. I was so blessed to be a part of it, and I was so honored to see our Vice Mayor, Shirley Green Brown, be such instrumental in that group and be honored herself. Thank you. It was very memorable. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Mayor, I wanted to let you know that we've moved the ethics presentation that our office will do to December 18th because there is a conflict. Alachua League of Cities has a December 4th timeframe. And per your comments, we're also looking at doing another ethics presentation in the first part of 2026. That's all I have, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Now we have commissioner comments and discussion.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I want to jump back to one of the earlier comments today regarding live streaming, because I just pulled up the meeting minutes from that meeting where we had the 5-0. Our directive was to explore and present options to the commission on how the city can provide live streaming to its residents, which is also user-friendly for seniors, and to examine the legal considerations that should be taken into account. The recommendation will be presented to the Senior Resources Advisory Board before it's presented to the commission. And that was a 5-0 vote for us. I have a concern if we're already doing a proposal for a service already without having any type of discourse with not only our senior advisory board or the commission itself. I have concern we're just jumping into that and not following the direction that we set. But what I'd like to see in the meantime, because I know we're waiting on providing a solution, is what like intermediate options do we have? Because we've gone almost 6 months from saying, hey, we want to provide live streaming to our residents, or at least not have them have to make a public records request every other Monday. Every other Tuesday to know what's our commission is discussing. So I hope, Mr. City Manager, you take that into account, and we can have some conversations about that. On a different note, I attended the Community Literacy Collaborative Workshop. I think it was last week, that was held at Santa Fe High School, where we're discussing literacy actually in Alachua County. And it was a great presentation by Dr. Brown from Santa Fe College, and a lot of great ideas and topics. And I believe our Education Task Force Chairman, Mr. Means, he was there. So it was great seeing our city having representation in how we can contribute and help the children and in our community with this, because as we know and study shows is that literacy is a huge impact on socioeconomic movement. So making sure we set up our kids for success is a big thing. So I'm looking forward to continuing seeing what they're doing and possibly presenting ideas to my fellow commissioners on how we can assist in that. And on another thing, I don't know, I think everybody here knows, especially if you're a government employee, tomorrow is Veterans Day. And I had to look this number up because I knew it was an absurd number. The current number for veteran suicide rate is 17.6 per day. And so some of us may have tomorrow off. I know working for the university, I have tomorrow off. While we're taking that time off, let's be mindful of the sacrifices our veterans have made and the seen and unseen impacts that they have on them. And with that, thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you.
I couldn't agree more with the veterans, and tomorrow's Veterans Day, but I do have to work. But I will be mindful, and my students wrote letters to veterans, and we will have a time from 4 to 6 that they can come pick up letters from ages 8 to 15. So I'm really excited for that. We have never done that before, but our middle school program, which is our first year, is doing that. So just adding on to the veterans and people who serve. I want to say well, there's a couple things. So the water quality ribbon cutting, I think was, I think it was Tim, was very well talked and was great to be part of. The inside and everything that it's going to do for the community is fantastic. It was a great day. We even had some new ideas and new things to pass out that I think are POA is doing, our PO is doing, which was really neat to see for people to take. And I handed that out I drove over to our O2B kids here in Alachua and gave it to the director there to just show her some things that are happening. Just between friends, I mentioned that I think it was a little bit slower, but on certain days, but they did have a great turnout. A lot of families and kids benefit from that. I will add that I appreciate the Early Learning Coalition. I think there's so much that they do that I don't think a lot of people realize what they do. And I feel that parents that can work or go to school and have a place to put their kid in a quality program that is rated and observed, I think is very important. So if your school is part of the program, they do send people out twice a year to check your quality rating that you are teaching the kids, and early literacy is huge. And I appreciate that for her. The chief's not here, but keep us safe as we go. And without say, I think the event I also attended, the luncheon, Miss Shirley amazes me all the time through the years prior to a commissioner and to now. To watch these women and be part of something and be honored to ask to attend the program still is talked about in my own home. So I hope you know, Miss Shirley, you are a remarkable person inside and out. And I was honored to be asked, trying not to stutter or get emotional. But I think it was amazing. I think the speakers, everything that was done was pristine. Just like you, all the way down to the food and to the tablecloth, to the napkins, to everything. And what they said was amazing. Just for my personal, I just will add the Supreme Court did not move to revisit same-sex marriages. So that was a win in my family's home. So I wanted to share that today. And that's all I have, Mayor.
Thanks, Mr. Mayor. The chamber meeting was very informative. The ribbon cutting for the Alachua Water Quality and Resilience Improvement Project was fantastic. I want to say thanks to Miss Pam for lunch today. It was an honor to sit with the veterans and staff to recognize their service. So happy Veterans Day. My sincere appreciation and thanks to Mayor, his wife, Commissioner Ringerson, City Manager, Ms. Lynn Hayes, and Mr. David Weister, who was there to support and attend the chartering ceremony of the National Coalition of 100 Black Women. It just warmed my heart. So thank you. We will do our best to do everything we can to help young girls and women in this community. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. I'd like to thank, first of all, I do congratulate you. That was a wonderful experience. And what chapter 7, that was amazing. Also, I like to thank Alachua Elementary. Those fourth graders, they blew my mind. I was one of the speakers, but I just had to recap what they did. They were phenomenal. They recognized the veterans. They just did a great job. So I thank for being part of that. I also liked the food giveaway that was happening at Hal Brady. That was awesome. I had a chance to work with Damien. I appreciate it. And my Horace Jenkins and a whole lot of volunteers. You know how they came out and boy, they got rid of that food. Also, There were some didn't know that the time had changed, and they was telling me like, okay, the flyer say 3 o'clock. Y'all started at 1 and ran out of food. Like, we'll fix that next time. I said, we do have one coming up, right? Yeah. So it was amazing. I just love the way we're coming together. I really believe that. And we're working real hard to make sure we can make our city noticeable. So I appreciate each and every one of you, and I thank you for coming out. I thank this marvelous board staff, however you want to call them. They are doing a tremendous job, and I'm learning. I'm sitting back, learning from them, and I appreciate it. So,
Mr. Mayor, one last thing. I've been thinking about this, and I wasn't gonna say anything, but I think I need to. We have great decorum in our meetings, but it is very disturbing to me when there are conversations in the rear of the room. So if you need to speak to someone, if you'll kindly step outside the door, and if you need to engage, because it's distracting, and I know if I can hear it, I know that you hear it. So just be mindful. Thank you.
right. With that being said,
I'll motion to adjourn, Mayor.
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
This meeting is adjourned. Thank you.